What's good, my brother? How you
What's
feeling
going
today?
on? It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to be alive.
Yes, sir. What a great time to be alive, I like to say. So, man, we back with dad vibes only, updating fathers, getting fathers emotions, feelings of becoming a dad, and pretty much just giving game to new fathers and fathers that's currently in their child life. Because not everybody in their child life, for real, for real. But yeah, man, first man, let's talk about man, how you doing today, man?
Man, it's a great day, man. Just got off the job. Now we're here doing our other job.
All right. Yep, me too, man. I had a great day today, long day. But, like I always say, it's a blessing for me to, help people. So that's what I normally do. But we're gonna get into today's topic.
All right.
And today's topic is what was your initial reaction when you found out that you were becoming a dad?
Oh, that's
So
a good question.
with this topic, I want to aim towards, giving some stats on, you know, how many fathers there actually are. I did some research on that. And let's just talk through it, you know what I mean? Because, a lot of people don't, they say men don't express their feelings and things like that when they become a dad, how they felt. Because for me, I would say becoming a dad was probably like one of the craziest feelings in the world. First, it was confused because when I first saw the pregnancy test, I was like, "Huh? How that happened? Like, how did that happen?" She like, what you mean how it happened?" Because I was thinking, mine didn't work. I had a doctor told me one time I had went and got a checkup, and the doctor was like, at that time I was smoking weed, and he was just like, "Weed lower your sperm count." So I was like, "Hey, I'm good. I can't get nobody pregnant." Thinking dumb. And when she sent me that, I'm like, yeah, nah, it can't be. I smoke weed. She was like, what? That don't even make sense. So what was your experience when you first found out?
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was probably the worst case scenario. So when the condom broke, whatever the case is, the girl ain't take the plan B. I blocked the number. So I blocked the number. I found out via email, but I read the email like 3 months later. So she took she, she
That's bad. Wait,
emailed
man,
me
I
in like
blocked.
September. I finally responded back in like December, December, November. So when
So
I
was it
saw it,
was
I
it
was
an initial shock when you saw the email? What was
man, I was like, first of all, I was like, how the hell you got my damn email?
it?
No. And then it went like, dang, I got a baby. She really didn't take the day go plan B because I was like, man, I ain't never talking to her again. But
Right.
when I found out, I was like, all right, Chad, we gotta do what we gotta do. So I was mad at first, man. I was real mad. I was
I was just gonna ask you, what was that experience like? Because I done dealt with girls before that were telling me they wasn't gonna take the plan B before, and then they ended up taking it, and that period of waiting, you
mhm.
nervous as fuck, like, oh shit, what the hell gonna happen? And then actually, my mama talked me off the ledge a few times, like, oh, just because you nutted in the girl, that don't mean she pregnant. Da, 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 da. So, what was that initial reaction when she didn't take the pill? I know you said you blocked her, but was you
No, at
angry,
first
frustrated?
I was ready to crash out. I was ready to crash out. Well, I was about to go back to the house. I'm talking about knocking on the door. I said, and I found somebody that who I was gonna pay some money to whoop her. Well, I had everything lined up. You hear me?
Hey,
I
that's
was ready
funny.
to risk it all.
I don't think I was that bad. I just treated him bad and just was like, man, if you don't take the plan B, don't call me no more. I'm done talking to you. But
That definitely
as
was
like,
it.
and think about it in hindsight, like that's kind of retarded to even think that way because we the ones that's having unprotected sex and
Mhm.
what comes with unprotected sex. Like that's
Yeah,
the only thing gonna come with it. A good time and a baby. Or
but
something else
let's
that
be
you
real
can't get
now.
rid of.
Let's be real. Most of the time when we done been in this situation before, the person did what we wanted them to do.
Correct.
So you feel like the next person's gonna do the same thing. And when they
Right.
don't do the same thing, that's where the problem come into place. And that's when you start acting ignorant and you acting like a child because well, at least for me, at least I ain't ignorant like a child. And I was like, well, damn, this mama, she done made me a daddy. I didn't want to be a daddy, and especially by this girl. Like, I ain't even like you like that.
Right. That's crazy. So
Yeah.
a lot of women say that men cheat without emotions. Would you, or not even cheat? when men deal with women without emotions. Would you say that's a true statement?
And this my situation, 100%. hundred
Okay,
percent.
so what you would say why you was dealing with it if you didn't like her?
It was just something to do. You
Okay,
know, to be real, I had no emotions. I mean, we probably had sex maybe 4 or 5 times over the course of a year. It was just somebody I called when I couldn't get the one I wanted to come. At the
okay,
time. So I'll be real with you.
yeah.
If you see this out there, it's no disrespect to you, just so you know.
But yeah, my situation was a little bit different. We was actually working on being together. Then we finally decided, you know what? We're not gonna talk no more. We just gonna leave this where it's at and just be cool, say what's up to each other in passing. And then I would say like a week or two later, I get a text message of a pregnancy test, and it's just like, what the hell? I don't even talk to you no more. Like, what are you talking about? So yeah, man, that's a crazy experience. But that made me want to bring up this stat right here, right?
Mhm.
So fathers that's living with their child, more than well, this stat says more than a quarter of 1.2 million men in the US are biologically fathers, at least to one child under the age of 18. Among these, 79% live at least with some of their minor children, and 72% live with their minor children. How you feel about that stat?
I mean, I think it's accurate. That the steps you got to do just to get involved in your like to live with your child or be with your child is such a fight. Luckily in the state of Florida, they made it where you guys, it's like 50-50 start
The
now.
dad got the same rights, yeah.
But before that happened, like every time you go to that court, you go get that paperwork to file for 50-50, that's a couple $100. just to go try to even fight for your child.
Yep.
And then that's not including if you already paying child support, et cetera, et cetera.
Excuse me.
It's a
And
financial burden to go get your child.
And a lot of men don't even have the finances to do that, especially if they on child support already. And I know we'll get to that in later episodes about child support and talking about knowing your rights and things like that. But a lot of those barriers, like you stated before, a lot of especially men that I know was having fun
Mm-hmm.
and the situation got serious and now it's just like, damn, I'm stuck with this person.
Mm-hmm.
And the child gets affected by it. So that's interesting that what I mean a lot of fathers and especially that we with our age I'm noticing that a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fathers are not with their biological child mother.
Mm-hmm.
And why you think that though?
I mean, because most of the time as men, we go into situations for the most part looking to have fun. And it's not really a situation where we're trying to have relationships with a woman, because you get to your 30s. In our case, get in your 30s, and like I had went this long. I'm good. I know what I'm doing. You get arrogant, you're full of yourself, then you have that slip up. But
Yep.
most of the time, we just deal with women. Sometimes, not every time, but most of the time, guys are dealing with women they don't really want to be with, and we don't be upfront with, hey, I don't want this, I don't want that, because you're trying to do and say the things to get what you want. And then we get frustrated, at least I did, at least got frustrated when I got a result of something I didn't want. I was like, dang, I never saw my life like this, right? I never seen myself being a baby daddy. And then now I'm like my dad in a sense, right? I'm a baby dad. So I think the stats, are what they are. And then you think about too, the older people in your families or your loved ones, friends, the first thing they tell you to do for the most part is go put yourself on child support.
Yep.
It's
And
never it's never to say go down there and go fight for joint custody. They tell you to go put yourself on child support and tell them what you can pay.
all right. Cause for me, I ain't gonna lie, I was getting some of the worst advice ever. Like one dude
Mm-hmm.
told me, "Oh, just leave both of them alone. I bet she start doing this, or she do what you tell her to do." Then it's just like, dang, like I actually want to be in my child life. Like you feel what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? I think being a father transitioned me into being like a real man, like wanting
Yep.
real responsibilities now because it's like, all right, I was having fun at first, but I had a daughter. So once I had a daughter, it's just like your mindset shift. You don't want no man treating your daughter like that.
Yeah.
You feel like a sense of a rage of emotions. You feel like joy, and it's that responsibility. Like I gotta protect her now. Like this is mine. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So that's what was going on with me, and it just was like, all right, I gotta change up the way how I'm doing it, because would I want my daughter to date a man like me? That was my question to myself.
Yeah, I had that too. I had that
So
too.
so yeah, man, that was like a thing that where I had to have like that deep commitment to becoming a father, like to wanting to be a father and things like that, and not take advice from dudes that was hurt. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And most of the time, I think a lot of dudes feel like they could control a woman and say like, "Oh well, you got my baby, now you gotta do what I tell you to do."
Hmm.
And I had to learn that the hard way, because I always thought that, once I get a woman pregnant, oh, we gonna be together. This is when to be that, and da 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 da. She gonna want to be with me. And that wasn't the case. My baby mama was like, yeah, no, I don't want to be with you. We was already not talking no more, so we gonna continue that, and you just be a dad to your child. It just like, damn, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that one because I ain't gonna lie to you. The part for me in the beginning, it was not trying to control them. It was getting over the anger of like I was a victim. Like, dang, you did this to me. Like, like I ain't want no baby by you. Like, I ain't even
Right,
like you like that. Now I'm in a situation where I got a child by you, and I can't stand you. I can't like you violated my trust. It was such an anger towards her in the beginning, and up until recently, where I had to let that go. And a lot of times, as men, we get in our own heads because we felt like, hey, I didn't want this, and you put this on me, and you
facts.
can't get past that mentally that they put that on you, and now you're in a situation where like, dang, like you tried me, like now I want to hurt you, I want to do things to you because I felt like you betrayed my trust and me nothing in you, and whatever, whatever. Like I told you to take this plan B, I gave you $50, I can't, whatever it was, right?
Right, I did my
Um,
part.
I did my part to prevent this from happening, and then you not doing it. Now you're making me have a family with you, and I had no intentions of ever talking to you outside of getting this rocks off. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that's a lot of times that a lot of men put themselves in a deficit mentally because we can't let go of that hurt of being in our minds violated by that woman because they're forcing me to do something I don't want to do because they want to do it with they want to keep the child for their reasons.
So I looked up this stat right here, and it says that according to the U.S. Census, 17.8 million children, nearly live, 1 in 4 live without their biological father.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's a deep stat. I saw some. I heard that and I realized that that's how it is too. Have you ever been in? Well, you've been a part of the court system, right? And
Yeah,
you see how when men go into courts and how the judge treats the man when he starts talking about why he wants to do custody versus child support. It's a lot.
it's a lot.
So that stat
It's
makes
a
sense based on experience, right? So for me, it makes sense. And you think about it too, like speaking of stats, right? 91% of the time when a separation or divorce happens, the mother gets primary custody. When
Yeah,
and a divorce, like you know what I'm saying. So it's like we're married when we have this child, and when they break up, the mother gets the child overwhelmingly.
right.
That's crazy.
Like, it's like the dad is non and void, or like you don't
Yeah.
care about your child or something like that. But I think that's a stigma that, especially dudes our age done changed, because I see a lot of black dads, especially dads,
Yeah.
period, on the park with their kid doing homework. It be the mothers that's, they like, oh, well, if you don't help them, then it ain't gonna get done type of vibe.
Yeah.
And
I
I had
mean,
one of those daddies that sat down and did homework with us,
yeah.
that, he didn't live with us, but he was present.
Yeah. I mean, I put it like this, right? It's just like it's a window with men when they're dealing with women and their child's mother, rather, that they get stuck in or they gonna do bad, good or bad, right? So it's like when you get to that, like I said, the initial part of being upset or frustrated, whatever it is, if you're gonna get to that point of saying, I'm gonna do whatever hurdles I gotta jump, whatever things I gotta do to be there in my child's life, once you get to that point, it's a safe space for you long term for you and that child. But I think a lot of times people a lot, like I say, a lot of dads are coming to that side, but I think in the past, I think that's been a lot of issues with dads not being able to just say, "I'm gonna just do whatever," if that makes sense.
So do you feel that you can be a single father to switch up topic? Do you feel that if her mother say, you know what, Chad, you could keep her, I'm good. You think that you can handle that responsibility?
I mean, quite frankly, I think I know I can. I think my life would be a lot easier. From the standpoint of when you're dealing with somebody else, sometimes they have different ways of seeing things. They grew up differently than you. They see things differently than you. But if you take that person out of the equation, like every child needs the other parent. So I don't want to say like, hey, that's not necessary for the mother to be there.
Yeah,
But I feel like as a man, you'll just do the stuff you got to do. Like statistics say, when a child's with their father more than their mother, they have less likely to be in jail, less likely to be in any troubles in life. They do better in life. So I know we're gonna provide that structure and that things that they need in life, being us being if we were the primary child care.
yeah, I could agree with that.
So
Um, and then too, I got a village too, so I got a big family, so I
yeah,
got people that can actually help me. So I do think that, I can be a single father and, take care of my daughter. But it's crazy that, about 40% of out of 2 million single fathers in the US, there are 40% that were divorced and 38 that had never married, and 16% that were separated, and 6% were widows.
that sound about right. That's crazy though, because you think about like, but people don't want to talk about these things, right? Like the percentages of like these things with men. I think it's just a wild stat if you really break it down for what it is, right? It's like, dang, like that's how many people? Like that's a lot
Right.
of men that don't have, custody or not really there or don't win custody or they're getting weekend coverage and stuff like that. It just I think until you became a dad, you realize how sometimes hard it can be to be a co-parent. Not
Yeah.
just
My
dad, but
dad,
a
my
co-parent.
dad used to always say, "Oh, one day you gonna learn. You gonna see for yourself when you get your own children." Because him and my mom used to be going back and forth, arguing about certain things. And that's one thing I give him. Like he tried his best not to say nothing bad about my mom in front of us.
Yeah.
And he always used to say, "Oh, you gonna see when you get older. You gonna see." And then, unfortunately, I see. It's just like God, eh.
Yeah, I'm
But
with you. I'm
but
with
yeah,
so let me
man.
so I
What
got
you
a
was gonna
question for
say?
you. I got a
Uh-huh.
question for you. So how do you feel like you deal with some of the things that your dad did as a child and some of the things you see yourself doing that's similar to that?
Uh, I think I'm more calmer than my dad. Cause I done seen him, he get so mad, he'll just start punching shit. He just be looking like, what the hell wrong with him? But he'll never like, oh, you gotta love your mama. You gotta do this to your mama. And he gets just be so fucking angry. But I think with me, I'm more calmer. I try to be more understanding. Cause me
Mhm.
and my child mother, we actually went to co-parenting,
Class.
counseling, and just seeing, I'm big on reputation and how people perceive me, right? So after hearing some of the things that she said in there, it just was like, I'm not that at all. So now I just like, all right, I'm gonna show you better than I could tell you. Like, it's sometimes, I lose my cool and get angry about certain things, like how you say that, you want your child raised a certain way, you know what I mean? Some things that you don't agree with, and it just like sometimes you get out your character because you just feel like you trying to piss me off. Like this is what you
100%.
wanted now. So now I'm gonna give you what you want. And I'm learning that, not to get out my character. Like I gotta be one way, take the good with the bad. This is a decision that I made, you know what I mean? And it ain't gonna change. It ain't gonna, you know what I mean, magically disappear. So it's just like just being more calmer and try to understand, but it's just like some things it's just like you just don't understand. It's just like what? It don't,
Mhm.
especially the climate that we living in, like what I mean, with the social media
Yeah.
and all the other additives with life now. So yeah, that's really how I try to do it. But what about you?
Um, well, I see a lot of things I do similar to my dad, like discipline stuff. It's hard with a girl too, because you realize, you don't want to be as tough as they were on you as a man. But
Right.
I feel like I still try to apply some discipline to her because you need that structure, you need that, but she wins most times, but there are times where I don't bend on certain things. When you're doing dealing with a woman is just a lot different, right? You have to be gentle on them because you don't want them to see you as that barbarian dealing with the daughter. You know what I mean? Versus if you had a son, like, hey, I might be a lot tougher of a
Right.
dad and a lot less sensitive of a dad compared to a son, right? So I had a question for you. So how would you recommend a new father deal with co-parenting? Would you tell him to do a class like you did, or how would you help them to get through that situation?
For me, I would say, yeah, co-parenting class is first you gotta, like how you said first, you gotta get out of your way first. Like, you feel what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Come to understanding that you're not a victim. You know what I'm saying? You took part in this situation too, whether she wanted to take a pill or not. Because at the end of the day, that shit is not good for their body. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So that can really mess them up from having kids. And that just
Mm-hmm.
come with understanding you getting older as a man. Um, and I would say, yeah, you know what I mean? Sometimes co-parenting class is good, or have somebody that you could talk to that's, a father that's been in their child life. Don't go talk to nobody that's not in their child life. They're gonna give you
Mm-hmm.
the worst advice in the world. Like, they're gonna tell you to
True.
abandon them. Don't talk to them no more. She don't want to listen to you. Because they told me to say that, and I just like, yeah, no, I ain't listening to you. But I would say the best advice, man, try to get some help, especially if you with somebody that's not understanding, that want it their way. Um, y'all probably gotta go talk to somebody, you know what I mean? But try to find that medium with somebody that can help you navigate through this, because at the end of the day, you're a first time father, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that's new to you. It's unnatural, like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things just you are falling in place with the habits of, like, getting your child, and like now I'm cooking with my daughter and doing little things like that. So a lot of things will fall in place, but yeah, as far as the mother, I would say, yeah, man, it helps to have somebody to talk to, especially that been through it.
Yeah. I think one of the pieces of advice I would give people is when you go talk to the person, especially if you're not in a space where you can enjoy them as a person, I would say, hey, just take your feelings out of it, right? A lot of times we go in there like, I don't want to hear nothing she got to say. I don't
Right.
want to do nothing she trying to do, but kind of go in there as like the peacemaker. Because at some point you're gonna get past this initial stage of I hate this, whatever, whatever, and then you got to realize I got to deal with you. So I
Right.
feel like the best thing you can do is just go in there with a compromising spirit in the beginning because you're not going to win a lot of battles in the beginning, especially in the beginning when they're baby infants because they're so small. The mother's going to primarily have the child at the first stage of life
Especially
because
if she
that's,
breastfeeding.
yeah, especially if it's breastfeeding. So you're going to lose that battle early. So it's like you got to play the long game. Like, hey, she want to do this, 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 cool. I ain't going to fight you on this one, but I'm gonna try to have a conversation either via text or via phone if I can't deal with you in person. And
Right.
and I'm gonna kind of go in there with bullet points of let me hear you out, and then I want you to try to hear me out because sometimes our energy matches their energy and it's never good.
That's
That,
that's one thing I would advise them. Do not match their energy. My mama used to always say, "Oh, you got to be the bigger person." I used to always, "Why I got to be the bigger person?" At the end of the day, somebody got to be the bigger person. You feel
Mhm,
what I'm saying? And why not you? Come with a level head. Come with, like how you say,
mhm,
try to understand. Like, I read something in the book, seek to understand and be
mhm.
understood. Um, so that's the like I said, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I try to
Yeah.
go in with that mindset, and sometimes I do give the energy, but I'm noticing that's a losing battle for me. Cause now
Hmm.
you upset, now you mad all day about something that, where if you just would have came at a level headed and said your piece and then just moved on, it is what it is.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
I would just add to that too is like you got to understand women go through postpartum, especially in the beginning. And
yeah,
and I
that's
really
real.
didn't understand postpartum. I was ignorant to postpartum,
Me
and I
too.
had no sympathy for postpartum in the beginning. But you got to give the woman grace, especially in the beginning, man. You got to give them grace.
Yeah,
Hate her, love her, or whatever it is, she's still going through emotional changes, physical changes. attachment issues, detachment issues, whatever it may be. It's so much going on in her mind, her body throughout that first year of the child's life, probably longer, depending on the woman. But that's part of the game that of having a child that you really need to understand. Like this initial phase of this woman is a different woman.
They turn into different humans. But
And
man, I appreciate you with this conversation tonight, man. It was a great conversation. Y'all remember this dad vibes only. Y'all get in the comment section, comment, let us know what topics you want us to talk about. Hit that follow button, hit that like button. Let's push this up. We on the road to 1,000 subscribers. That's our first goal, and we appreciate everybody for tuning in.
have a good one, man. Appreciate y'all.